What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Dash today. It is the 23rd day of November, and here we are sitting at about $60 with 8 hours and 40 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, my friends. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, okay? Here we are. I do believe that we have lower to go for Dash. The target area is $51 to $34. Right? At the lowest 34, at a minimum 51. Yesterday we did hit 52.73. It's pretty damn close, but close is not close enough in my opinion. Okay. We need to see these targets being met from a low to a high. My expectation is that we would at least interact with the 0.5, at most interact with the 0.69, somewhere at about $34. Most probable we interact with the golden ratio right there at around $40. We back test the prior support zone for support, and then we continue to rally, right? What we're in the process of doing is something called a ABC correction, which ABC corrections are typically symmetrical in nature. If there were to be a bigger leg, like if this is your A leg, this is your B leg, and then this is your C leg, the largest leg is typically the C leg, okay? So from a high here, well, that was not the high, by the way, just so we're all clear. From a high here to a low there, this is your A. B was the correction within the correction, and then C would be from the top here to the bottom, wherever that is. Now, it's not that it's impossible. Hold on, I'm trying to get this right on the money. I'm trying to get it right there. It's not that it's impossible for the C leg to be shorter than the A leg. It can be shorter. This leg could be shorter than the first leg, but typically it's at least as long, if not longer. Okay, not like a dramatic bit longer, but a little bit longer. And if we were to do an ABC style correction, this would at least take us to about $43, $42. Now, it is possible without the ABC correction, just without that in mind, but that's where that would take us to, is about $43, $42. It is possible that you reach for your golden ratio, you find support just above it, and then you move up. We have seen that happen plenty of times in our history. And in my 10 years of doing technical analysis and the 3 years that this channel's been existent, we have found multiple examples, so many examples where you did front run the golden ratio. But I don't think it's any far stretch of the imagination that if the C leg would be projected to stop about right here at 42 to 43 bucks, that we just complete the thought and interact with $39.60 entirely. We might break that $40 level. It's like psychological support for some reason, and then people capitulate right below 40 bucks, right below these lows. We take out those lows, and then that's some kind of like psychological barrier that people just can't handle. We break that, and then that's the low, and then we recover and we move up higher. I do believe Dash will see higher prices than $150 probably by the end of December. I do believe that that's going to happen. I just also believe that we're going to go lower. I want to look at the short-term stuff. And for anybody that's missed it, we were bearish at the top. We were bullish at the low here. We were even bullish here, calling for higher prices, and we got it wrong. Okay, it wasn't until this day that we actually flipped bearish. Okay, on the 21st. It's the 23rd now, so the last couple of days. And the reason for that is the fact that we got below these lows here. That was the criteria. Really, we didn't want to get anywhere near these lows. I didn't think that we would go lower than 70 bucks personally. I think the call was 71 at the lowest. And the fact that we broke that wasn't necessarily an immediate cause for concern, but once we got below 65, $62, that's when things shift, right? And then of course the haters, the trolls, they want to say, ha ha, you were bullish from the top. No, I was not bullish from the top. I was bullish from down here. I was bullish from down here, actually. I was bullish from here, and we flipped bearish as soon as we crossed this threshold. So in essence, you really just missed a little bit of this, right? Imagine you bought here whenever I was saying, hey, it's a good time to buy. This is the moment to buy right now. For 3 days, we were just saying it at the top of our lungs. And then things were nice. You had some gains. You didn't take profits. It comes back down. You would have sold either at a neutral position or a slight loss, and then waiting for a better opportunity to get in, which again, I think is something around $40 to $45. Maybe as low as $35. $34 maybe, but something around 40 bucks is what I really think that we're going to do. Right about 60 right now. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. 1 hour, and I do believe we'll go higher. I do believe we'll see $230, $330, $400 by the end of this year. I do believe that, but a little bit lower first. 1 hour time frame here. Rejecting the overbought zone here. you can see that you are, and this is exactly what we were talking about before actually when we were down here, that we'd probably come up and find resistance between the 60 and the overbought zone, but we probably don't get overbought because here, getting deep overbought, more shallow, a rejection here. This made me think, this kind of behavior leading up to this made me think that we would not cross the barrier getting into the overbought zone. This is a little bit stronger of a read than I thought we'd see, to be fair, but more or less exactly what we were looking for. A little bit of a lower high. You've actually got, let's see, you've actually got a nice uptrend in the RSI here established, right? The 1 hour time frame, you do have higher lows and higher highs, but you've broken out of that now. And I think, again, with the rejection of this overbought zone and the break of an uptrend, you're probably going to go lower, probably. Okay. This here, really what this seems like is just a bear flag, right? It's the Canadian hockey stick of death and despair. If this is the Canadian hockey stick of death and despair, what would that measure move take us to? Surprise, surprise, I bet. Let's just see. What would that be? Trying to get it right on the high there. That'd take us right below 40 bucks. Right there at 38.60, which is right with the golden ratio, man. It's perfect. It's literally perfect. You've got the ABC correction suggesting this. You've got the bear flag suggesting this. You've got your fibs suggesting that we probably go just below $40, okay? Stochastics look bearish. RSI shifting bearish. At this moment, it's in a bullish posturing, I suppose, but shifting bearish. The MACD finding resistance at the 0 if you reject here. I mean, the last time that we did that, it did not bode well. Similar reaction expected here. If you're against me, if you don't believe in what I'm saying, if you think that we're going to move higher, then let's give some if-thans to prove me wrong. Okay, if I'm wrong, what would you need? What would we need to see? If I'm wrong, look at that too, directly right at the 236 for resistance. If I'm wrong, you'll need to get above these lows at least, but really you'll have to get above this high. So unfortunately, it'll take some time to prove me wrong. You have to get really like above $85 to prove me wrong. Until then, prices going higher in between these areas could still promote lower prices. Could just be a lower high. However, I don't think that we do go higher. But even if we do, even if we push up to 68, even if we push up to 74, that's not enough to prove me wrong. It's still there. We could be finding resistance at prior support. What we'd be wrong about there is that this is not a bear flag. This is not the Canadian hockey stick of death and despair. It's something else. But to prove me wrong, really, you have to get above 85 bucks. Until then, I maintain the bearish stance. And I'm allowed to change my position at any single moment, right? If I see things turning bullish in the charts. I would imagine that if I was proven wrong and we did see this return all the way to higher prices, I would probably flip bullish before we saw these highs. But technically, by the way of the charts, I'm not technically wrong about assuming lower prices. I'm not proven wrong until we get above $85. I don't care about being right and wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I'll post it on my videos in my title. I was wrong. I don't care. It's just for the people that do care about me being right or wrong. That's what I would need to see. You'd at least have to interact with $80 or more before then. Until then, anything higher from here does not invalidate the lower call. Okay, we likely do go lower. And again, the call is to go below $40. Just below $40, but below $40. MACD on the 4-hour time frame is very bearish. Very bearish indeed. Stochastics rejecting the 50 here would promote downside as well. Right now they look bullish. Right now the stochastics would imply that we go higher, but if this blue line crosses the orange line after rejecting the 50, well, that typically would send you to the oversold zone, and that would likely imply that we do break this to the downside. And with that, just again, the assumption here being that we're in a bear flag would likely take us down below $40 to 38 bucks, 39 bucks, somewhere around there. Maybe more. Again, these are just measure moves, okay? Especially for people who are new in this space, measure moves are not end-all be-alls, okay? It's just an idea. You don't have to go down here because the measure move says you do. Maybe you stop a little bit above. Maybe you go a little bit past it. This is just an idea. And ideally, in an ideal world, your idea gets met exactly, but oftentimes you see slight variance, just below or just above, whatever, okay? So be open-minded. Don't wait for a specific number, right? I think if we're anywhere near $40, like any time below $45, I think it's a great time to buy Dash, okay? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It's like here, I didn't wait for the exact low of $62 to start saying it's time to buy. No, we started saying it's a good time to buy once we got below 70. And I don't care if you bought at $70 or you bought at $62. Everybody in this range was feeling smart once we were up here above $100. We did call for a move to go above $100. We thought it would continue as well, right? Unfortunately. Um, we even did call, I think, for a little bit of turbulence here because that was at prior support, high to low. That's your golden ratio zone. I mean, we called for a little turbulence right there above $100. It didn't meet the criteria exactly, but we did expect some turbulence. It's just we didn't expect this to not hold. That's the only thing that we got wrong so far. Looking at this on the 4-hour time frame, lower highs, lower lows on the RSI, rejecting the 50 on the stochastics. I mean, the RSI is bearish as hell, man. That's a downtrend and a half. We're going to come down and probably form some bullish divergence, which should get people excited, right? And with that, I mean, I don't know if we were to go lower. With that, maybe we don't go below $40. I don't know. Or perhaps we do form bullish divergence. We come back up and maybe we form some more bullish divergence in that second attempt, that double bullish divergence. That's when we make our $40 move. Or perhaps we just get rid of the bullish divergence altogether. We see a lower low, and then that's something to form bullish divergence off of. Time will tell. I kind of theorize actually that might be what we see. Perhaps we do get a lower low in the RSI. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm very much under the assumption that we see prices below $40. But do understand as well, we've been focusing on that a lot. It's completely acceptable for Dash to go to $51 right there on the dot, find support, and then move up. It's completely possible that $51 is support. And if we bounce off of that and we get above $65, I will start to feel a little bit. If we bounce off the 0.5 directly and then get above $65, $66 on a closing basis, I will start to question the bearish thoughts a little bit more. But until then, I'm sticking with the idea of the golden ratio. And again, getting above $65 does not invalidate the downside. It just makes me question it a little bit more. Not from here, and I want to be specific, right? It's a very specific course of events that has to take place. If we move up from here above $65, that doesn't scare me at all. That makes me think, okay, whatever, it's just a lower high, we're going down. But if we return to the 0.5 and we bounce directly off of there, and then we're closing days above the 382, that would make me think that we could go higher. That wouldn't flip me bullish immediately. I don't want to put words in my mouth for future situations that haven't happened yet, but it might make me more inclined to be bullish than I am now, right? But all I'm trying to say here, really what I'm trying to say by this part is we could bounce at $51. We could. But to me, it makes the most sense that we go to $39 to $34, somewhere in here. Somewhere at the low end of this area. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw lower lows than what we had here, and that was the low itself, and then we move up from there. When we do move higher, whenever that is, I'm just looking at the MACD, the stochastics, and the RSI, they all look bearish right now. They all have bearish implications. Whenever we do move higher, the expectation is that we will see something around $200 to potentially something as high as like $500. Right? Using this fib, I would even say $550. Before, and for a little while here, we were assuming that we would just move up to 230 to 330, maybe up to 400, something like that. And that's still a possible target outcome. But understand, with this more hefty consolidation, we could go higher. We could send it higher. We stopped at the 1414 here. Maybe we go all the way above the 2272 on this next drive. We'll see. If I had to guess, I would think that we stop somewhere between about $250 and $400. That's my guess. Whenever we do move higher again, from the last cycle's high to the bear market low. Delete this. You've gone from your golden ratio, right, and down to your 382, down to your 236. The 236 is right there at the $38 mark as well. A lot of significance right here. When we go up, statistically speaking, it's the most probable that we would stop at the 786 to the 886. Can we stop below? Yes. Can we keep going and go higher? Yes. Anything's possible. But statistically speaking, right now, at this $60 price, I would assume when, not if, but when we do take out this high, and probably by the end of the year in December, we will see prices somewhere around, if not directly at, $240 to $330. That's really the next, to me, that is the most likely outcome. $38 and then all the way up there. That's the prediction. I guess I could have made this video in 10 seconds just with that, but then there'd be no explanation. Anyways, I've got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Double top in the weekly RSI. Don't mess with it, man. Stochastics are bearish. You likely don't bounce here. You bounced here before at the 50, but you're not doing it now. You're going to the oversold zone. Don't mess with it, right? How many times when you got overbought and you came down did you find support here and then you came back to the overbought zone? Typically you get oversold. You found support here and then you got oversold. Right? You got overbought, came down, you found support where you are now, and you got oversold still. I don't care what happens, we're probably going to the oversold area. And typically after a voluptuous move like this, you see consolidation anywhere last from about 4 to 8 weeks. So we're on our second week of consolidation now. 4 weeks would be the very beginning of December. 8 weeks would be the very end of December. It's completely possible that I could be wrong again with my sense of timing, and we don't see those $240 to $330 targets until January. But whether it's the end of December or end of January, I'm very confident that it happens. I have nothing else for you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.